This is Sheila's Take, a podcast where you can hear my take on everything: love, hate, relationships, family, and today's issues. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Thank you for joining me. Have you ever wondered why you pray and it doesn't seem like your prayers are ever answered? Or the things you ask God for are not manifested in your time? Many of you feel this way quite often and have given up on your prayers. I know I've done it so many times in the past. My faith wavered. I thought God didn't hear my prayers, or maybe even turned his back on me because of things I may have done in the past, or I may have disappointed him. Just know, because you can't see a way right now, that doesn't mean God isn't already creating it for you. God will always provide what you truly need at the right moment. There's always a ram in the bush. We all know the story of Abraham and God asking him to sacrifice his beloved son Isaac, right? After Abraham and his wife Sarah waited so many years and prayed for a child, God finally blessed them with one, and now wanted Abraham to sacrifice him. And you know what Abraham did? He believed. He had faith and he followed God's command. He even told his servants, "You wait here. Me and the lad will be back after we give an offering." He knew that God had something better waiting for him. There's a ram in the bush. God will provide for his faithful. He always will. He always has. He even provides for those through intercessory prayer. Your grandmother may have prayed for you. Your mother may have prayed for you. Your wife, your husband, a friend. God will bless you through the prayers of someone else. I married at the age of 35. And not because I wanted to. I longed for a husband for years. But, it didn't happen. I wanted someone who would love me and care for me. I prayed many nights and days, but my prayers went unanswered. Lord knows I had enough boyfriends and relationships back and forth, but why didn't God send me a mate? I partied, I had fun, I went to clubs, I went on dating sites, but not one worthy of being my mate. I prayed the same prayer over and over, and at this point, I didn't do anything different. I just prayed. Was my heart in it? I don't know. I just knew, I wanted a mate. I wanted to be with someone. I wanted someone because, I wanted someone. I was still going out to clubs. I was, doing my thing, looking for that someone, jumping in and out of relationships, like you would put on a new pair of clothes. If I didn't like the relationship, I was out of it. No questions asked. But you know what? There's a ram in the bush. Jeremiah 21:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to give you hope and a future." So God is willing to bless me with a husband. But then I realized I was asking God not for a husband, but for a mate. And I was doing everything contrary to God's word. God would eventually send me my husband, but I had to prepare myself to be a wife. I had to do some changing within myself. I had to meet God where I wanted him to bless me. Because he knew the way I was living, I was not ready to be a wife. So I had to prepare myself to become a wife. God couldn't bless me with a husband if I was still hanging out in clubs and sleeping with men here and there and jumping out of relationships. I had to ask God to help me become a wife before he would bless me. It's as simple as that. Let me put it to you this way. You can't ask God to bless you with a Cadillac or a Mercedes or a Porsche if you don't even have a license, if you don't have a driver's license. You can't ask God to make you financially free when you're not a good steward of your finances. It's like saying, you know what, Lord, please, please, please bless me with $1 million. But then you go out and you spend 100 on frivolous things, or you're gambling, or you're doing other things with your money. That doesn't make you a good steward. If you can't do with the little, how are you going to do with the lot that he's going to bless you? You have to meet God where he is. And he's waiting for you. The blessing is there. There's a ram in the bush. It's right there. But you have to be prepared for it. God will give us the desires of our heart, but we must put in the work. And then we must wait on God. We must wait on God. Faith without works is dead. We know this. I had the faith, though I thought I had the faith, but I didn't do the work. It wasn't until, as we would say in the past, or I don't know if we still say it, but I say it sometimes. It wasn't until I put my money where my mouth was, or let me put it this way, I put my work where my faith was, that God blessed me with my husband of now 23 years. I had to start acting like a wife. I had to stop going and hanging out at the clubs and thinking that that's where God wanted me to be to find my husband. You have to put the work in to meet God because he wants to bless you. There's a ram in the bush. Dave Willis said, faith is a choice to trust God even when the road ahead seems uncertain. Wow. Faith is a choice to trust God. But you know what? For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to give you hope and a future. God knows us. He knows every bit of us, from the beautiful top of our heads to the bottom of our feet. He knows exactly what we're capable of. And he wants to bless us, but we have to do the work. We have to do the work. God is waiting to bless us. Put in the work and wait on God. He is working with you and through you. There's a ram in the bush. Join me next time where I will continue to discuss more of today's issues. You can hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or even send me an email at Sheila'sTake@outlook.com for topics you would like discussed, or if you would like to be a guest on Sheila's Take. I'm your host, Sheila Dunbar. Until next time, blessings.